Hello students, welcome back. In this lesson, we will create IAM users and groups. By the end of this lab, you will be able to create these IAM entities and comfortably navigate through AWS IAM console. So let's get started. Here we are at the AWS console homepage. Let's navigate to IAM by using the search option at the top of the AWS console. As you can see, you can use the left navigation bar to navigate into user groups, policies, roles, and identity provided. For the scope of this lab, we will only work with users, groups, and their policies. Let's start by creating two users, Ram and Shyam. In our example, Ram is a developer and Shyam is an AWS administrator. You can navigate to the users page by clicking the user options in the IAM dashboard. This is the users page where you will see all the users created for your account. Now let's create our first AWS user by clicking on the add users button. We start by giving a username to your user. Let us call this user Ram. When creating more than one user with the same properties, you can simply add another username by clicking on this Add Another User button. However, for this example, we will do this one by one. The next option we see is the AWS credential type. You should select Access Key Programmatic Access to allow this user to be able to access AWS CLI commands or use AWS SDK and AWS API. We do not need this for our example, so we will only select Password AWS Management Console Access, which will give user Ram to access the AWS via Management Console. Selecting this gives us some more options. You can have AWS create an auto-generated password, or you can manually add a simple password for this user. For our example, we will let AWS give us an auto-generated password. The next option is Require Password Reset. You should check this box if you want your user to reset their password when they first access the console. We will uncheck for this demo. Click on Next Permissions. Here we have three options. You can add users to a user group. You can copy permissions from an existing user that you already have in your account, or you can attach policies directly. We have no users or user groups in our account, so we have no options. But if you click the third option, Attach Existing Policies Directly, you will see a whole list of policies, even if you have never created a policy in your account. These are the AWS managed policies. This means that these policies are managed by AWS and that if any changes is required, it will be made by AWS. These are highly useful for simple applications where you don't want to create and maintain your own policies and let AWS handle all this for you. We can select a policy here like Amazon S3 read-only access and give this permission to our user. Let us first create a user with no permissions. Click on Next Tags. Here we can add tags to our users. Let us add an example tag Department Finance. Then click on Next, which will open up the review page where you will see the final details about your user. Click on Create User. This takes us to the final step of creating an AWS user. Here we can see that the user Ram was created. You can even view the password of this user. Click on Download CSV, which will download a CSV file with user credentials to your computer. It is important to know that you should save these credentials somewhere after creating the user. If you navigate away from this page, you will no longer be able to get the credentials again. Click on Close and we can see that our user Ram is added to the user page. Let us create another user, Shyam. We follow the same process. Add the username Shyam. Allow AWS access via console. Leave all values to default except require password reset and click next. We will not be adding any permissions. Click next. We will add the sample tag same as we did for user Ram, Department Finance. Click next and click on create a user. Download CSV to save credentials. Please note again that you won't be able to get credentials back after closing this page. Now that we have created our two users, Ram and Shyam, let us create our users group. Click on user groups and then click on create group to create our first user group. Add the name developers. We can add users to this group from the table below. Let us add Ram, who is a developer, to this group. The next step is to add policies to this group. We want our developers to be able to fully access EC2 and S3, so we will check Amazon EC2 full access and Amazon S3 full access from the policies table here and click on create group. We now have a developers group that has only one user. Let us create an administrator group as well. Click on create group. Enter the group name administrators. This time we will not be adding Shyam to this group right now. Let us create a group without any users. Let us now attach policies to this group. We will attach the administrator access policy. Click on create group and we can see that our group are created. But the administrators group does not have any users as of now. Now let us add Shyam to this group. Go to the users page. It has both the users Ram and Shyam. Click on Shyam. You can see that this user does not have any permission. Move from permissions to the groups tab. Click on add user to groups. This will give you a list of user groups. Let's add Shyam to his administrator group here. Now if you go back to the permissions tab, you can see that the permission has been added to this user. Shyam now has the administrator access policy attached from the administrator group. So we have created two users, two groups, provided with AWS access to these users assigned AWS managed policies. That's all I wanted to cover in this lesson.